Sammy Obeid.
What's up, bro?
It's been, you were like
October 4th, 2023.
the four. Wow, it was that long ago, huh?
May have been the third, maybe the second,
Yeah.
but it was one of those days.
Well, you know numbers more than I do, so yeah. So much has transpired since we last talked, and you've been like backpacking India, basically.
I will.
Yeah.
I will be
Oh, that's
going to India. Going to India in a couple weeks
it's part of your tour.
for part of the tour.
Nice. And then you were in Europe.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I'm gonna go to Beirut for the first time.
Yeah, what happened? They like canceled your show?
It got canceled. It was in October of last year. I mean, it was the absolute worst time.
Yeah.
It was like when Beirut was actively getting bombed.
Well, you know how
Shut
they
down
do.
the airport.
They'll show people still partying with the rockets
Of
flying.
course, no, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
So
Normal
you'll have that in the
business.
background of your
Yeah,
your set.
Right. Yeah. They're just like, we'll be safe. We'll
Yes,
be safe
yes.
this time.
Relatively safe, whatever that
Relatively
means
safe.
in
Yeah.
Lebanon.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes this October. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why is everything happening in October, man?
I know.
There are some certain things that have come up recently in the community that I wanted to get your take on it.
Sure.
As a teacher
Mm-hmm.
and as a Palestinian, you offer like a very niche perspective on something that I want to talk about. So, details and nuance mean a lot to you,
Yeah,
right? They
absolutely.
matter.
Absolutely.
And in the struggle for liberation,
Mm-hmm.
and also in the comedy sphere, there's a lot of cancel culture out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So does a gray area exist within, obviously, like
Yeah.
the comedy sphere, where like a comedian can get canceled and then they just kind of wait it out a bit,
Mhm.
or do they have to apologize, and then like how do they come back from their own canceled situation, and then kind of how it relates to the liberation movement?
Right.
Can we find the value in something that they're doing good, but also call them in and try to teach them?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to.
Yeah, and this is a great question, and I think it's something that it's something that I've been thinking about recently, that like we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
In at least in terms of the activism movement. In comedy, we talk about it all the time because comedians, have got, I guess, quote, canceled left and right, but a lot of them have come back. A lot of them have seen resurgences in their careers because there's a lot of people who don't care about cancel culture. I mean, it always going to depend on what the degree of the allegation is.
Sure.
But you could even argue that if Bill Cosby wanted to go out there and do a tour, he could. You know what I mean? Like,
Facts.
and he's like top of the pyramid on the cancel culture. You know? But yeah, like there's been a lot of cases where, like, Louis, for instance, people didn't like the way he apologized because he didn't really apologize.
Sure.
And then he just kind of took a couple years behind the scenes, and then he was out there selling Madison Square Garden, and a lot of people were like totally fine with that. A lot of people were against it. For me personally, like, I don't want to associate with anybody who's like has like a severe level of allegations, and I always do my own thing anyways. So like I don't want to get caught up in somebody's bad rep if they, like, I don't know, I guess genuinely aren't like working on being a better person, or I don't know them.
Sure.
But you see, there's certain instances where maybe somebody has a very mild transgression and they're able to like say, hey, I'm sorry about this, I'm trying to work on myself, like Liver King. No, just kidding. Liver King is a guy who, like, he lied to everybody about doing steroids, and then he just relapsed from the steroids.
So like if you're actually financially gaining from that lie, that makes the allegation a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's always a case by case basis. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you look at like milder allegations, like Aziz Ansari.
Sure.
The guy had a bad date. He probably was a douchebag on that date. We don't really know the exact details.
Yeah.
He probably was a douchebag. But he apologized for it, moved on. But he's not, he's hardly out there anymore. So it's like, I don't know, it did affect him.
Yeah.
Definitely affected him psychologically. So people can come back from cancel culture, but it's never the same.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same for Louis. It's never going to be the same for Crystalia. It's never going to be the same for these people. And, I kind of just stay away from that, just because I'm trying to do my own thing. I don't know these people personally. I'm not going to like spend my time further talking shit about them, but at the same time, I'm not going to put them in my circle and deal with any of their fallout. It's just for me, it's like science, it's just an observation, you know?
Yeah.
So that's comedy.
So like basically, if they apologize correctly, they can like you can come. There's always going to be an asterisk, but
yeah,
they can come back from
it's always going to vary. There's some people who are never going to forgive you no matter what you did. Like there's some people who are actively like, fuck Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
He was an asshole to that one woman that one time or whatever. And sure, I mean, you're entitled to that opinion. Then there's going to be people who are like, okay, so what? Louis jacked off in front of a few people. He's still funny.
Yeah, like he's a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius. Let him jack off. Like he gets to jack off in front of 5 people. If it was more than 5, you know, everybody has what they consider their limit. That's fine. It's up to the individual. But when somebody gets caught or gets a severe allegation, how they address it, how they deal with themselves, I think is important.
Sure.
And it will affect who you win back in your good graces. It also just shows integrity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you really did something that was fucked up, can't you just say, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Like how hard is it just to say, I fucked up, man. That was dumb.
Yeah.
You know? But then also there's people who do that and they say, I'm sorry. And they'll do it so many times and people still will not forgive them. Like how many more times can I say, I'm sorry?
Right.
So
you have to actually like also seek help. Like they're sorry and then you have to be seek.
Yeah, you're going to seek help or you're going to go to your, 12-step program, like Harvey Weinstein. Bless him. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Sure, he's
even that guy still has fans, so
wild.
Also one thing worth noting, because of the reaction to cancel culture, there's people who are going to get quote unquote canceled and it's actually going to give them a resurgence in their career because of the people who are like, fuck cancel culture. And you see that a lot nowadays.
Yeah. People are like canceling cancel culture.
Yes.
It's like a overcorrection to
exactly.
The other side.
Exactly. So depending on what you did and how you did it, you might actually see a resurgence in your career.
Yeah, navigating the entertainment business is interesting for to see it from the outside because I'm not in the comedy sphere, but I'm also inside in different parts of the entertainment business.
Right. And not even entertainment too, like politics too. You got Andrew Cuomo. He's riding that anti-cancel culture wave because he had allegations against him, and he's one of the front runners of the New York City mayoral debate. But like people are pushing him because they're like, "So what? He was canceled. Makes me like him even more."
The woke mob is
the woke mob. Yeah, which side are you on?
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess as it translates into the activist movement.
Yeah.
Especially within our own sphere, like, it's not like the both sides. It's like, who cares if a Zionist activist is like getting canceled? But like when we kind of start attacking each other.
Yeah. The activism sphere is interesting because the allegations are so much milder than the things you see in comedy. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody in the Free Palestine movement is jacking off in plants in front of people. Like it's not a thing that we have seen.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? We don't know people in the Palestine movement who are like drugging people in their drinks. You don't see allegations like that. You see allegations of like, oh, this person was friendly with a Zionist, or
where the money's going.
Yeah, like this person might be like grifting or something like that. And yeah, I mean, these are allegations to talk about and to take seriously. But it's like when you compare it to cancel culture in my industry, it's like way milder. Right. So I'm like, this person just did that. Like, talk to them, call them out, but like, just completely eradicating them from the movement when they've actually done a lot, to me, is absurd.
Right.
And it's something that like we need to talk about and we need to avoid because this liberation is a collective thing, and we're at a time where this should be highlighted because it's like you have Tucker Carlson. Like literally leading a big part of this movement right now by spreading truth to people who were never going to see it otherwise.
Sure.
Who were never going to see it if it wasn't Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or maybe even Marjorie Taylor Greene spreading the message. And yeah, you can disagree with them on a bunch of other things, but it's like, do you want these people to be completely silenced even though they're doing God's work for the liberation?
True.
You know what I mean?
That's where the gray area.
Yeah, so there's things like that. Then there's situations where like, oh, this person was raising money for a charity, but maybe they weren't. Like that is something that should be called out, 100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's like, like let's hear what they say.
Yeah.
What's their side of the story? Are they going to stop it? Are they going to, how much have they done for the movement? Because I've seen some people who maybe are in a slightly suspicious kind of grifter gray area, like mildly, like nothing flagrant, but they've done a lot for the movement.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, like, can we have a discussion about this? And see like what did they actually do before just like trying to like push them out of the movement entirely when they've really done so much of like bringing people and spreading awareness. I don't want to say specific names of the situation,
Right.
but like I've seen some people with like prominent accounts who've literally been spreading the message and getting so many people aware of the situation, and seeing them get called out because they work with one Zionist, or they have an organization that wasn't fully transparent, or they got caught up in they were working with somebody else who was a grifter or something like that. And it's like, okay, like let them talk, let them reprieve themselves, and
kind of feed into the Zionist division tactics
exactly
that always kind of destroyed liberation movements historically. So
100%
can't fall for that again.
Ultimately, that's it. It's a win for the Zionists when there's a division. And that, which makes me even wonder, like sometimes I even wonder, like when I see some of these people going super hard on an activist who has a very mild allegation, and they're just so like, fuck this person, they're a piece of shit.
Could be a bad actor themselves.
Yeah, and I'm like, who are you working for?
Yeah.
Like, this person has reached 2 million people and is like doing actual initiatives for children in Gaza. You have like 500 followers, and sure, you're a purist, and maybe you've never said anything that is, in any way, shape, or form questioning to the resistance movement, but like, what have you done? And like, is you tearing apart this person going to be net positive for the movement? In most cases, it's not, sadly.
Yeah.
And not to say we shouldn't take people's allegations seriously and look into them and have a discussion about them, but like just getting rid of people from the movement. Unfortunately, the real ones always stick around.
Yeah.
The real ones never disappear.
Sure. So more specifically in like, we're two men talking about allegations. So the optics of it, especially when it comes to women and like sexual allegations.
For sure.
We're talking, we have a responsibility to like, if another man is being talked about in that way.
Yes.
We do, the idea of like believing somebody and then discussing it. Is that what are your thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, that's always difficult for a man to navigate, because especially, if you're friends with somebody and they have like a sexual harassment allegation against them, and it's like, I know this guy, oh, he's a good guy, but this allegation sounds real.
Yeah.
And then, it could be either way. It could be like the allegation's real, and, turns out your friend's kind of a sleaze bag. Should they be forgiven for this? What do they do exactly? Let's talk about it. Or it could be a situation where the allegation's false. How do we ever know that? Sometimes you just don't. But like, my thing is, there needs to at least be a crystal clear allegation. I don't want to like name names, but there's someone right now who there's allegations against, but they have not been named. The allegations have not been named. They're just saying this guy has sexually harassed, and we have proof, but there's been no proof. Like, they're like, the person they sexually harassed, like, they haven't even listed the people they've sexually harassed. And it's like, okay, like, I want to take allegations seriously, but I have to see the allegations. So it's like there's like levels. It's like, okay, once you have the allegations, then you look at them and you determine like what validity they might have. But even then, as a guy, you can't be like, they're true or not. You don't know, but there at least has to be allegations. There has to be crystal clear allegations.
Sure. So we still have to, it's like innocent until proven guilty.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. It's very logical and straightforward.
Yeah.
But it seems like, go to your mathematics. So it's it's inverse proportionally related, because like the allegations can be mild, but it's so detrimental to the cause.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the allegations could be super severe in comedy, but then the ramifications of it is not really that big of a deal, because they can come back from it.
Exactly. So you got to look at all the factors. At the end of the day, you got to remember, people are human. People do make mistakes. How big was the mistake they made? How many times did they make it?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, Cosby was drugging women for decades. Like, that's not forgivable in any capacity. Harvey Weinstein was raping people for decades. That's not forgivable in any capacity. Aziz Ansari went on a bad date. If he's like huge in the movement,
yeah,
I would say it's for our betterment to forgive him. You know?
Yeah, true. And then
Free Aziz Ansari.
Talking about people who shouldn't be freed and shouldn't be working, is kind of the one guy that I can say that is both comedy and Zionist. His name rhymes with the maybe like Frapp Abort.
Frapp Abort.
Yeah, so he's still working in LA, and you know, he seems like he could say whatever he wants and still work. So I guess we have a lot of work cut out for us, because on the Zionist side, you can kind of do whatever you want, still work in Los Angeles, and then on our side, you post Free Palestine and you could never work again. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's some nuance to this narrative too. Now, I think we're at the point where, because like the thing is, I don't know the scope of my industry reach because I don't try, but I do know there's a lot of people still in the industry who will work with me, and either they haven't seen the extent of my work or they don't care. But like, I've said plenty of things that are like blatantly, shamelessly pro-resistance and shamelessly like, Palestinians have the right to resist and be liberated. And people still want to fuck with me. But what I don't do that Michael Rappaport does is like laugh like at the suffering of people and being like, ha ha ha, you motherfuckers. Yeah. Like, I talk shit about Israel, I make jokes about Israel, but I'm never like laughing at like actively suffering Israelis and like making videos where I'm like, ha 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 ha, ha, which is like what he does.
Yeah, it's his like brand.
But also, yes, Michael Rappaport's still working, but there's places that don't book him.
Sure.
There's places that I don't think they're not booking him on principle. I mean, some of them are probably like, yo, dude, you're an asshole, we don't want to book you. And some places are just like, yo, dude, when we book you, we get protests up the ass. Yeah. Like, we just don't want to deal with it, man.
Is there a paradigm shift where kind of people are starting to distance themselves? Like, is money kind of like the end game for these venues and the people that are getting?
For some, yeah. I mean, because let's be honest, man. There's places that book me one week and Michael Rappaport the next.
Yeah.
And it's more, and people are like, why are you playing a place that plays Michael Rappaport? It's like, listen, like, I'm the artist. The venue just wants to make money.
Right.
Like, it's not like they're making money and sending it to the IDF. They're just booking a douchebag, So yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of people who are just like, whatever, man. If you sell tickets and you're not like a rapist, we'll book you. It's kind of the bar for a lot of comedy venues. Some places are like, yo, we don't fuck with your politics. And that goes both ways. Like, there's people who've been canceled from venues for being pro-Palestine. Not any of the big venues, though. Interesting. But some of them. And I'm sure there's places that don't book Michael Rappaport. I'm sure I've heard him complaining about it at some point. And rightfully so. I mean, like, he says some wild shit. So there's clearly going to be places like, hey, that doesn't stand for our values.
Right.
But I know there's also going to be places who just don't book them because they're going to get protests. They don't want to deal with it.
So you being internally seeing it from the inside, do you feel like there's a shift?
You saw this massive shift after 2014 when people saw actual footage of dead Gazan children on the beaches getting bombed recklessly by Israelis. Yeah. And I noticed a big shift then, and I noticed that suddenly, like, the pro-Palestine voice was more well received, and as a product of that, there was more people in the industry who were like, yo, let's like get a Palestinian voice. And that was really not heard of before then. Sure. It was really a taboo. It was like, hey, I'm Palestinian. Like, there was no you can't think of a mainstream Palestinian artist pre like even like Mo Amer, really, because like it just wasn't a thing back then. But 2014 happened, and then I noticed the shift because in 2015 I did Last Comic Standing, and Wanda Sykes was like, hey, like, I booked you because you talk about being Palestinian, and I want that message to get out there. And so that was on NBC.
Interesting.
And so, like, for me, that's when I was like, okay, this narrative of we're being silenced everywhere left and right is not true. We have opportunities. We have to find them.
Sure.
And so after that, people were kind of warming up more to the message of Palestinians, and like people in the industry would fuck with me, and, they would book me and stuff. And then 2021 happened. Yeah. And that was something that made Israel look really bad. Sure. I mean, it was, I guess Hamas launched like a few rockets, and then they just bombed the shit out of Gaza. Yeah. It was like a very mild version of 2023. Yeah. And like then it was very in vogue to be like, yo, Israel, like stop bombing children.
Yeah.
And suddenly like the Palestinian voice was even more like important. And that's when you have like Moammer coming out, like perfect timing, his show does really well, and like everybody's like, yes, like cool, let's see what Palestinian culture is about.
The big brands and industry leaders are starting to learn that like it's gonna hit their bottom dollar.
Of course, absolutely.
If they're on the wrong side of history, they're gonna suffer in their pockets and their wallet.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing that with Disney, with Snow White, and Wonder Woman, and all these like really terrible.
End of the day, you're gonna follow the money.
Yeah.
And when people start to notice that pop culture favors things, they have to change their business model. And so you had this slow, steady, gradual movement of people being more interested in Palestinian voice, but still the industry largely Zionist, and censoring anything that's like super pro-resistance, right? Then you have October 7th, and everything went backwards for some months. Everything was like, yo, like don't even say free Palestine.
Yeah.
Don't even like talk about the plight of the Palestinians right now. We just saw the October 7th massacre. And that was a point where like you could just for saying anything mildly pro-Palestinian, you could get in trouble. So everything went backwards.
Right.
It was like all the years of work just suddenly went back. And then as Israel does what it does best, ruin its own reputation, bombing the shit out of Gaza, starving Gaza month after month after month, slowly started to climb out of that. And even though our politicians are not a good indicator at all of reality, they're APAC controlled. So they're always going to be portraying an image in the media as well, because it's so controlled by the lobby, including the ADL and the work that they do. So entrenched in the media, the media and politicians will always feel behind the reality of the world. And so you often it can be very deceiving if you only watch mainstream news and talk to like Americans who know nothing and only consume mainstream news when you're not looking at like social media and the world, which shows you largely a pro-Palestine voice.
I don't know if it's hard to see it from the outside, but I believe that your platform is a version of independent media too.
Yes.
You're packaging politics through comedy, and I think that's one of the not easiest, but like it's the Trojan horse method.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You come to laugh, and then you kind of get some real shit at the same time.
Absolutely, and I try to think of myself as my own channel, and anybody who's has a big network or following of people, they become their own channel.
Sure.
And so now you have an abundance of these, and it's not just me, like people in the pro-Palestine community who have large followings and spread their message.
Yeah.
And so with all of this, with numbers, inevitably comes the ability to do business. Yeah. And of course, a lot of us are, either using it for our careers or, donating or in some shape or form. Like I'm very open about the fact that yes, of course I make money off of touring, but I'm also doing charitable stuff too.
Yeah.
But I've been doing stand up for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not DJ Khaled, you know what I mean? I'm not
Good.
Eating all of my profits.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, obviously I personally benefit off of it, but I'm doing this work for Palestine.
And we like that you're benefiting off of it.
Thank you.
Not that you're benefiting off of suffering.
Right.
You're benefiting as a disenfranchised or historically disenfranchised population that has never been given the opportunities. So when you are in a position of power, whether it's with a voice or financially, you're able to actually make changes and change the material conditions on the ground.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And I mean, really, what I use my own growth of wealth is just for stability and just little things that motivate me. I'll treat myself to something that motivates me. And I'm not flashy. I don't
calculator.
A new calculator. Yeah. Just something new that stimulates my mind. I'm not flashy. I don't wear expensive clothes, and I'm not posting pics of expensive meals. I just think that's so tacky at a time like this. And I don't do that stuff. But yes,
a cheap shawarma spot.
A cheap shawarma, yeah. That little things that are enough to keep me motivated.
Nice.
But really, the fact that I am able to make money, and other people who have followings because they are pro-Palestine, because they reach these people, are able to make money, sends a message to businesses, brands, agents, managers who are hey, this is lucrative. Therefore, we will embrace this voice. We will welcome it. You know what? Hey, maybe we'll even rock a keffiyeh. You know, and I'm not saying I've seen this explicitly, but I'm saying there's plenty of places that will work with me. There's venues that will work with me. There's agents who will work with me because they know I can make the money because of numbers.
So you know, it's their shrewd business people.
Yes.
We're kind of using that to our advantage.
Absolutely. And my thing is, as long as these people are not like sending money to Israel or the IDF in any shape or form, or like they're just crazy staunch Zionists, I say normalize giving business to pro-Palestine. Normalize it. Like, let it work its way up the chain. If there's an agent who's a good person who wants to give be part of this pro-Palestine franchise, let them do it. You know, if there's a business that shout out to Palestine Cola, like normalize them. You know,
I mean, shortly about Palestine Cola. They're independently wealthy. Palestinian brothers based in Sweden,
right?
And so they all 100% of the profits go to Palestine,
and that's amazing.
And they just use the money to like just promote. They've just recently built their U.S. franchise too. Yeah. So we're talking to them behind the scenes too. So working, it's just such a breath of fresh air to like work with these companies. Like Arabs, if you're hearing this, put your money where your mouth is. Make something that's worth a damn. And give back.
Because that's our culture at its best. It's generosity. It's being good at business. And using that business for generosity.
100%.
You know, and it's about time that we flaunt our good Arab stereotypes. And be part of business. Be like, not that we're using pro-Palestine to make money, like that is by definition grifting, but normalize people who are shamelessly pro-Palestine being good at business. You know,
and as I alluded to before, like this is a time and age where you're finally getting those opportunities. So I'm never going to rag on a Palestinian for making money and actually getting the opportunities finally. Right. Being snuffed and choked for like so goddamn long. So yeah, I think, but the caveat of that is use that power and use that money at least
for something good. And that's my thing. It's like I literally just the money that I actually consume, like that actually goes into my body, is just all with the motivation to do more stuff for Palestine. Like I'm just a machine. Like I'm just operating to be more creative and do this stuff and spread the message.
Well, we saw that in action yesterday. Hopefully, you'll sell out even bigger warehouses one day in your future. Stadiums with
and that is the truth. Sometimes you do have to do it independent at certain places. You know, the mainstream venues, not everybody's ready to fuck with you. But you know,
the people that are willing to be there with the air conditioning off for an hour and a half. Those are your real ride or die fans.
Absolutely, embrace them.
We would be nothing without them. So, Sammy, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
And I don't think Israel is ever gonna get return from their cancel culture.
I don't think they're going to recover.
Recover from their cancel stuff. So,
and they're not even saying sorry. So
I think the shift has finally came in our favor. So and we appreciate having voices like you on the show. So, Sammy, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.